Finally, after hours of looking, found a pair of pegs. I bought this stupid juicer.
Long story short, I basically poisoned me and Meg. I'm really happy with that performance, man.
But in terms of running a world record, Marco's more than capable. It's gonna be fascinating to see what happens over the next few years. So we're back, but we've had a bit of a mare. I forgot my running trainers, not my spikes, forgot my running trainers, and I've been walking for the past hour or so now, just trying to find a pair. Exaggerating, about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Just trying to find where I can get some trainers, but it doesn't look like looks on my side. I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, finally, after hours of looking, found a pair of pegs. These will do the job. Okay, so we're back. Now, what has happened? Where are we? We're in Lausanne Diamond League. I arrived here yesterday, I got the call up on Monday, and they raced on Thursday. I wasn't expecting it. Olympics was a whirlwind. Long story short, we went straight from the Olympics in Paris, caught like a 10-hour train back to 10-hour door-to-door to Saint-Moritz, picked up Milo, put the tent up, managed 2 days in Saint-Moritz camping as it just got a bit too stressful, too much of a challenge, if you like. And now we're here back racing again. We then drove home, another like 15-hour shift, which was hellish. I got like 4 or 5 days at home, just getting back to normality, and we're back, we're racing, and man, I'm excited, man. It's so good to be back here racing. Lausanne Diamond League. I got lane in the 800. Again, still training for the 15, but we've been running 8s because it's just what we can get lane at the moment. And it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited, man. This I did mess us up yesterday. I take things to such an extreme. So I didn't think I was gonna be racing yesterday. I was ill. All I had to eat until like 9 p.m. was like 2 mouthfuls of rice, literally 2 spoons of rice all day, because stupidly I bought this stupid juicer and I didn't really know how. I'm such a bloody idiot. So long story short, I bought ginger, beetroot, turmeric, carrots, a few like cucumbers, and yeah, I juiced it, but I didn't realize that you're meant to use a tiny bit of turmeric, and I bought like a bag of turmeric. My hands are still a little bit yellow, my nails are still a bit orange from the turmeric, that is. And I juiced like a handful of turmeric. I juiced like the whole bag that I bought, and then I juiced a handful of ginger. And it doesn't actually make that much juice, but that's how much I juiced. And then I juiced 2 beetroots and I think 3 carrots, and that was it. Yeah, and as you can imagine, I juiced way too much turmeric, and we were good. We had it other than even. We had it about 8 o'clock, and then this is Meg and I, and then we both, like in the middle of the night, both of us were just like, our stomachs were killing. We were in so much pain, and we woke up the next day and we felt like a pile of poop. Yeah, we felt rough, and Meg was a mess. Her stomach was doing backflips. My stomach was doing backflips. We were, for like a good 24 hours, we've been completely wrote off. I didn't think I was going to be able to race today, but I woke up today feeling really good. This was on Tuesday. It was rough. I wanted to throw up, couldn't do it. I was desperate to throw up, and even now just the thought of turmeric makes me feel sick. But long story short, turmeric in small amounts is good for your gut. In large amounts it's bad because it causes like gastric acid. So I basically just messed up our microbiome, I think it's called, or like basically our gut, and I just basically ruined us. But we're set now, we're ready, and we're gonna get ready to race tomorrow. I'm excited. 5 guys under 142 or quicker this year. That never bloody happens, so that's gonna be a quick race, which is a good thing, and it's not a hugely congested field. So I think it's just about getting out there, getting on the back of the wave, and trying to be competitive, but holding my patience. The difference between this and the Olympics is this is gonna roll at least 2 seconds quicker the first 400, so I'm not going to have to do anything. I'm just going to have to just sit in, and then I just got to just ride that wave in the second lap. So I'm just going to try and run the second lap as I did at the Olympics, but just be mindful that the first lap will be slightly quicker. So the beauty about Diamond League is that you don't actually have to think, you just have to run. There's no tactics to it. It's purely just run, just switch off and run, get in, hold your form, and that's it. It's so simple. But no, feeling good now. And then of course I forgot to bring my trainers. It's been a bit of a weird one. I spent about 2 hours walking this morning trying to buy a pair of trainers, and Switzerland is expensive. It is expensive. I bought a pair of Pegasus, and these are 160 quid. I mean, for Pegasus, that shouldn't. I mean, I haven't bought trainers for a little while, so I don't know if that's normal, but
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty steep. But I mean, I haven't bought a pair of trainers in a while, so I'm gonna get some good use out of these. And I haven't worn pegs for running for a little while. I couldn't find Invincibles, but when I looked online in Switzerland, they're like £240. I wasn't willing to pay that, so I just bought a pair of Pegasus. These will see me through the next few days, and yeah, I guess the next phase will be I'm gonna go for a run on the seafront now. I'll take you with me actually. Go for a run on, not the seafront. Sorry, Lake Geneva's that big, it feels like the sea, but it's not. It's actually a lake. So I'm gonna go for a run along the lake, see a bit of Geneva, I guess. Lausanne, we're in Lausanne, the Lake Geneva. And then shakeout, couple strides, and yeah, I guess race tomorrow. It's come around quick. Final few races. We've got about a month left of racing. Hopefully I can get a few 15s. I'm desperate to race a few 15s. I want to rewrite my PB in the 1500, which would be quite exciting, but we'll see. Obligatory lift shot, we're ready to run. Let's get it done.
So here's the lake, and this is where we're staying. Another special one. It's beautiful and warm out here as well. Seems to be some sort of concert down there. Just stumbled on this on my shakeout. So the lake is literally just through the bushes. It's about, I think it's about a mile and a half away. This is perfect. I don't know why we have to go to the training track when we can use this. This is a beautiful track. 8 lanes, everything you need really. But, you know, let's get the 2 mile done, and then I might do my strides and stuff here instead, because this is a lovely track. It is a lovely track. Right, I'll get this done and then come back here. There we go, so track there, and then lake just here. Lovely stuff. Honestly, 44.2, 43.3 I think, one of the two. I'm really happy with that performance, man. Long story short, last week we drove back from Switzerland. I had a bit of a chest infection. I'll show you a picture of it just to give you perspective. I'm not bullshitting. I've had this chest infection for a little while. I've been coughing up. Like when I was referring to health issues, I thought I got over them because I was given some stuff to try and clear my lungs. It didn't work. It worked for a short period. It actually got me through the Olympics, and then got home again, and then it just started coming back up, and it was like just lumpy mucus. Picture for reference, and it's been going on for months now. But the antibiotics has actually cleared it now. Only thing is now is my mucus is like so runny. It's drying out the back of my throat, and then I keep like having coughing fits in the night. And then on top of that, I tried to get super healthy, so I bought a juicer. Long story short, I basically poisoned me and Meg. I used like way too much turmeric. Poor Meg was shitting sideways. I was an absolute mess. I've had the sweats for days. I even took bicarb yesterday night to try and neutralise the acid in my stomach, and I think it actually might have worked, along with like cherry active and like lots of milk and things to neutralise the acid in my stomach. I think it works, man. 44.2. If you saw me 2 days ago, oh man, I really shouldn't have come, but I'm so over the moon, so proud and so happy that I did run that. Really am. It didn't look great. We came very far down the pack, but given the circumstances, really am pleased. Really not complaining. Stellar field. It is what it is. Would love to be higher up, but based on how I've been feeling, how well I've been, oh man, I'll take it. I will take it. Okay, so we're back home. Lausanne Diamond League, let's talk. Wow, there's something's happened in the 800 this year. I'm still trying to get my head around it. So, I mean, I have to point out first, after the last video, I did say that it would have been my last 800, but what I meant was last championship 800 moving forward. Indoors is slightly different, might still target the 800s, but we got a last minute call up for the 800 in Lausanne. I found out sort of a few days before, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'm in good shape, we can run. Of course, picked up a bit of an illness, like I mentioned before, but we still gave a good account of ourselves. I mean, when we reflect on what's happening now in E8, I thought when it happened in Paris, I thought this is a one-off, it might not happen again, but it's happened again and again and again, to the point we're having, what, 4 or 5 races in the 141s, and we're having different winners. So Sajati to Wanyonyi to Erupt, three guys running those times is insane. And then we've got people that are slightly behind but still very much players. It's mind-boggling. I think what's almost happened is you've got people like Wanyonyi who will front run it, and people are now believing that they can access it, so they're trying to actually go with the pace, and that's only possible when you have people like a Wanyonyi or a Marco. Without them in the race, I don't think the races go that quick. I.e., like if Sajati's just in the race without Marco or Wanyonyi, I don't think the race ever goes 141 because he doesn't take on the pace. He likes to sit and kick. So with guys like Marco and Wanyonyi, they're going to bring on people. Ben Patterson's another one running 142. They're going to bring on people running insane times, and you have to sort of grasp in your head where the movement pattern is shifting. So the Lausanne spinning gun, it's the first time I've got to experience it, and I forgot how quickly the 800s get out in the Diamond Leagues. I had a bit of a shock because I went way to the back of the pack. I think I went through in about 51.3, 51.5, about a second slower than I needed ideally. Yeah, about a second slower than we really wanted, but that's not an issue in any way. And I guess I wasn't in touch, but the point that I want to make now is that the world record record is very much in grasp and he's probably going to go very soon. And when I say very soon, I thought it might have gone in Cilicia just gone, but I think now we are potentially going to have to wait until next year, only because I think to achieve that world record in Brussels, now people are chasing it. It kind of moves the boat that far, because it means if you're chasing something, you're tensing up a little bit more. So it does make achieving that world record slightly more difficult. However, it'd be fascinating to see if it does go. After so many races, holding form for the last, 6 weeks was Paris ago? I mean, I'll be pretty damn surprised, and I'll be so impressed if one of them can do it this year. But looking at the two athletes who are at the top, the three athletes, you've got Sajati, you've got Marco, and you've got Wanyonyi. Marco's a specimen. His legs are about up to here. He's all legs. He's like a daddy long legged spider. He's all legs, and he's just physically incredibly capable. Wanyonyi, I can only describe him as like, think about a coiled spring just waiting to explode. Marco, you can see what he's working with. Wanyonyi, when you're around him, and I remember the first time I was around him, it was in a lift in the US in Oregon, and I remember being around him and thinking, this guy feels different. Like, he doesn't feel like a normal athlete. He just feels like he's ready just to go bang, just ready just to go poop. And I can only describe him as a coiled spring. Like, he's waiting to just explode. He just seems like he's just got tendons, and it's just, yeah, he's pretty impressive to be around. But Marco, yeah, as I said, you can see why he's as talented as he is. He's probably putting in 10 to 20 steps less than most guys over the 800. Probably exaggeration, probably 5 to 10 over that period. I mean, that's quite a lot. He's quite a lot. That stride pattern is absolutely mind-boggling. Wanyonyi, again, specimen, he's the other side. And then Sajati, he's just so unassuming. You don't think he's going to do much, but does somehow. It's pretty damn impressive. So I think the world record does go. I want to do a breakdown of the Lausanne race. Sorry, not the Lausanne race, the Olympic final. Problem is we can't, because our last video was blocked. I think it's called like geo-blocked, or like blocked in the world, demonetized everything. So they didn't just demonetize it, they took it off the YouTube, because you can't have the rights to any YouTube footage, Olympic footage. So it means we can't. I wanted to do a full breakdown of that race, because I want people to truly understand what Marco did in that race. Now, I know Wanyonyi won, but what Marco did was phenomenal. I'm fairly certain he went 51.50. All I know is that I'm pretty confident his second lap was quicker, and to note, his second lap was actually even more impressive, mainly because he ran the majority of it in lane 2. So bearing in mind, a full lap in lane 2 is 7 meters. So technically, in terms of world records, he actually ran, in terms of distance, he would have actually got to 800 meters faster than David Rudisha did for his world record. But again, it means nothing, because he didn't do it over the 800 meter distance, because he ran wide. But in terms of running a world record, Marco's more than capable. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens over the next few years. We need to keep those boys nice, fit and healthy. Wanyonyi front ran it, which is another thing to also factor in. It's a lot harder than sitting in. There's a lot to unpick. I hope we get another race like we did. We have done another set of races like we have done recently, and it's going to be bloody. I think people need to start getting excited. They do. They really do. They need to understand what Marco and Wanyonyi are doing as Sajati. More Marco and Wanyonyi, because they can dictate the pace. It's phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. And I remember running in that semi-final with Marco, and what impresses me more is that he's got quite a tactical brain. He's very, very switched on, and I think that's scary when you're that talented and you're switched on. Still gets a few tactics wrong. Still runs a little bit wide every now and then. But if he nails it over the next few years, he's young enough. Wanyonyi, how old is he? I want to say he's 20, but I feel like that can't be right. But we're going to have him for the next 5 to 7 years. Kenyans tend to tail out a little bit earlier. They don't often get to the 30s. But that's mainly because they have so much talent across the board. To make teams into the 30s normally is quite difficult. In the longer distances, of course, it's easier. But normally their talent pool is so broad that they sort of phase out a little bit earlier. Not because of lack of talent, but mainly because the younger ones are coming up and are taking places, and it's harder to stay on the circuit. But it's going to be fascinating to see how long these guys do it, what they do, how they do it. Get excited for the 800. The 15's long been talked about, but the 8 at the moment is looking far more exciting in my opinion. It's free. It's free. It's free. Subscribe. Just do it. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. We're doing these videos. They're not free. They're bloody expensive. So subscribe. It helps me out massively. If I can try and grow this and try and grow the sport, then you guys are only helping me out. So if you have made it this far, and if you have, just click that button, please. That's not a beg. I insist. I don't insist. I'm waffling. Sorry, I'm signing out. I heard on a grapevine that Yarrow is actually going for a world record.